Let's record. Oh, we all sorted, guys. So let me go and share some screen. Let's see what's cooking here. All right, so we're on the DXY. Let's make some full screen. Let's just do this. Okay, so we full screen, guys. We full screen here. I just want to move this out the way because all these Zoom things are just in the way. Yeah. Okay, cool. So I'm looking at the DXY, guys. So DXY, if you guys remember our higher time frame analysis, we were still kind of waiting for structure to for price to break back into our ascending structure and then obviously retest. We said that any setups that come outside of our structure, we look at them as risk entries because I guess price is outside of our structure, our higher time frame structure. But we are still bearish bias because we can see that this uptrend that's been going on here has been broken to the downside. So obviously what we need to wait for here is just a pattern that does confirm that we're going to see some downside momentum. So DXY, guys, I'm still going to be a little bit bearish. As much as maybe today we could expect prices to maybe come up, retest this previous resistance, and then we might see that bearish momentum coming in. So we're just going to have to just keep waiting, guys. Patience. But nonetheless, let's get into our pairs, guys. So on Aussie CAD, guys, you guys know that we slightly bullish bias here. Let's just move the chart to the center. There we go. So you guys know we are slightly bullish bias on this pair, but what we can see about this price action here is that we've pretty much just been moving sideways this whole week. So far, we've seen momentum coming up in different directions, but we're still kind of just moving sideways. So what I'm going to be doing here on Aussie CAD is just waiting for structures, guys, because when we have like ranging markets, obviously support and resistance give us an idea of where markets could go to and from. And then the structures that we see inside of support and resistance give us an idea of where the momentum will come in. Because remember, we don't want to sit in a trade for the whole week or the whole whatever. We want to get to TP as fast as possible. So what we're going to need to do, since prices are moving pretty much sideways, on Aussie CAD, we just need to wait for a structure to form to give us an indication of momentum. We know that we want to be bullish bias, so we need to wait for a bullish structure to form so that we can get an idea of when that momentum is going to come through. So on Aussie CAD, guys, I think we're going to just be pretty much patient right now because there is no bullish bias structure that's forming right now on Aussie CAD. So let's go on to Aussie Swiss franc. We haven't looked at Aussie Swiss franc in a while, but nonetheless, we can see that we've got some momentum, we've got a support, we've got resistance, we've got a new lower low. And what we can see is prices breaking back above this previous support structure over here. So obviously what we're waiting for is for that potential reversal structure. We have been bullish bias on Aussie Swiss franc from these structural areas here, but we see some momentum coming just opposite direction straight away. So, but what we can see is obviously maybe some structure that might give us a nice bullish bias. So on a 15-minute or on a smaller time frame, you guys can see we are retesting this previous level of structure there. But if we were to look at an exact area where we're looking to enter, guys, you can see that there's some support over here. In this move to the upside, there's our previous resistance areas that prices broke above that never quite retested right here. So that's exactly where we kind of going to be looking for candlestick confirmation to fall. And then obviously we'll have the confluence of this bigger inverse head and shoulders that could be forming. So that's kind of maybe what we're going to wait for on Aussie Swiss franc. Just wait for it to come down to our value area, give us a nice reversal. We are retesting previous resistance that we've broken above. So what we need to wait for is just for that structure to give us an indication on where to enter. Because if we see a double bottom or whatever the case is, a double bottom structure will tell us look for your candlestick confirmation here or look for your candlestick confirmation there. So that's why we look for the structure at our point of interest to see where should we look for that candlestick confirmation. So that's Aussie Swiss franc bullish bias. We just need to wait on the structure to find a point of interest or to find pretty much a reason to press buy. So on AUD JPY, we also haven't looked at AJ in a while. So right now you guys can see very much similar to AUD Swiss franc. We've got this momentum to the downside, giving us a potential inverse. We touch the neckline of this potential inverse. So obviously when this right shoulder does form and prices come down to this value area, this is where we'll be looking for our buying opportunities. So for this trade, guys, what I'm targeting is previous support that hasn't been retested, and I'm not targeting the 90%, the completion of this inverse, just because obviously we see a momentum to the downside, and if price does come and retest, we could still see prices maybe continuing to the downside. So we'll be a little bit, I guess, aggressive in the way we're going to manage AJ for bullish bias because we're seeing downside momentum. And yeah, So AJ, let's just wait for this inverse and complete at this right shoulder over here. So a little bit of patience, but I'm still just doing the analysis just so that you guys are still prepared. You guys know what I'm looking at on these pairs. So on AU, guys, we've been looking for some bullish bias price action yesterday. We were kind of looking for sells just because of how we saw prices moving to the upside here. And then obviously we know that prices are right now consolidating. But what we can see, guys, is that prices are kind of expanding the structure. We're seeing lower lows and higher highs. So we're kind of expanding this structure over here. But conclusion being is that we're still pretty much moving sideways because price is still inside of this. What did I just press? Price is still inside of this fair value area. Obviously, we know that when prices consolidate, it means that prices have found both buyers and sellers, and we're still in this region here. So what we want to do is we want to buy as low as we can buy. And we can see that in this move to the upside, there's one red candlestick over there on an H1. Obviously, if we went down on a 15-minute or whatever the case is, we would see that there's resistance and support in that area over here, some sort of consolidation. So what we're waiting for is for prices to come back to this key value area. This is another area over here. Once we get in here, this is where we're looking for our structures for our candlestick confirmation for that bullish momentum outside of our higher time frame descending structure. If you guys remember higher time frame AU, we said that we're bullish bias because of obviously a whole lot of reasons, bigger time frame, double bottom structure over there. And then obviously any entries that present themselves below our resistance trend line will be risk entries because why? Price is still in a 4-hour downtrend. And once you've broken this resistance trend line to the upside, then we can find those higher time frame reduced risk entries, maybe even off our same structure. So we'll look for that entry down low. Otherwise, we know that we're waiting for prices to break to the upside. So SUSIEN, guys, I did send a signal on SUSIEN. Kind of looks like we're back at break even. I was hoping momentum was just gonna take us through straight away, but nonetheless, we're still at break even right now. So if you guys didn't enter the position, obviously this is another opportunity for you to jump back into some SUSIEN. So obviously you guys can see the arrow that we've been bullish bias on SUSIEN from this touch region. But the reason why we're looking to sell is because we've seen that prices are obviously moving sideways. If we look at higher time frame where we are, we've seen prices just from these structural regions, they're just moving sideways, creating structure inside. And then obviously we just said when we were looking at AUD CAD that when prices are moving sideways, we look at the structures to find where the momentum could come in. And what we can see is that we have some resistance, some equal highs over here. Obviously, we saw prices breaking above those equal highs, but giving us a nice wick. So just showing us that prices were basically grabbing liquidity above these highs. And then also we have confluence of some ascending structure. So on a 15-minute, I think I took it off 5-minute confirmation. But nonetheless, from 15-minute, we can see first touch, second touch, third touch. We find our double top structure, first peak there. Second peak coming in, poking above, pushing back below. Yeah, and so this is the structure that we're trading. Let's just see if we do find that maybe prices are retesting some support or whatever the case is, maybe we might still see that bearish momentum. So I guess we're in the trade. Let's just wait and see how it plays out. But these are the reasons why we took this trade. It's quickly, guys, I've got 3 minutes left. I've got 3 minutes left. So NZD CAD, very similar thing, guys. So NZD CAD, what I am looking at is for a little bit of a higher sell because I'm seeing this nice momentum to the downside. Okay, no stress. I am seeing this nice momentum to the downside, and obviously we see this big corrective structure. So what this would mean is that obviously because on AUD CAD we're looking for that bullish momentum, and on NZD CAD we're looking for bearish momentum, it means that we're kind of hedging some CAD strength if you just think about it from a CAD perspective, the code pair perspective. So looking at things here, obviously we can see some downside momentum. I don't know what was going on yesterday, whether it was news or whether it was what, but markets just went wild. But anyway, we see this downside momentum, and after we see this pushing to the downside, we see this prices basically giving us some corrective price action. We've got some resistance over here. Equal highs, we see prices breaking just with a wick above these equal highs. So just grabbing some liquidity, breaking back below. So after this pin here, this is kind of where I took a young, small, short sell. As much as we are maybe waiting for this higher time frame sell. So obviously you guys know that I always look at two areas where I can obviously enter a trade. So if this trade obviously fails, I know where's my next value area to be able to buy higher, which is in this area here. The reason why there is because if you just put a trend line across here, you'd find out that that's your next touch, which also aligns with this previous level of structure over here, which also aligns with this previous support that hasn't been retested. So that's kind of us just stacking confluences, understanding that this is our key value area where we should be looking for those selling opportunities. But yeah, we are at resistance right now, so that's kind of why I did sell after I found candlestick confirmation there, just in case price has the agenda of not coming up and then just giving us some bearish momentum now. Yeah, that's NZD CAD, guys. Bearish bias on NZD CAD. Here's the setup. Let's move on to the next pair, NJ. So NJ, we're kind of at resistance right now, but we got here fairly impulsively, so that's why I'm not looking to sell this pair. What I am seeing is that we are at some resistance. We've got some support over here, so obviously we know that we have some potential inverse head and shoulders, with this being our head. Obviously prices are at the neckline, and we could see prices coming back to retest and give us obviously our right shoulder before we find momentum to the upside. So NJ, a little bit of patience waiting for that higher time frame buy. Let's see, last pair. So USD ZAR literally completed the setup that we were looking at yesterday. Unfortunately, USD ZAR didn't tag us in yesterday. Where's our object tree? Let's just see if we still have this short position. Okay, looks like I deleted it. But nonetheless, to just go off yesterday's biases, we had some resistance over here. We saw prices breaking above this resistance and we were looking to basically sell, but we wanted prices to come and retest this previous resistance up here. That's where we would have sold from. And obviously our TP was down here at these lows here. So we can see that USD ZAR kind of did complete that move. But what we have to kind of just kill our FOMO, destroy it completely, is we can see that we've got some previous support in this area over here. So obviously if prices want to come and retest an area after this momentum to the downside, this is where we could be looking for our corrective structures to kind of terminate. So we still sell biased. We've seen finally seen a break of this support trend line over here. So if we do see some corrective price action coming into previous support functioning as a resistance, this is where we look for our downside continuation, guys. Yeah, that's USD ZAR. If you guys want a reference of what our higher time frame bias is, we've got this ascending structure. At the third touch, we've broken out of our structure. We've come into some higher time frame resistance. Obviously, we're expecting prices to break back into structure and then come and complete at the 90% rule of the structure. So for USD ZAR, guys, I'm not looking for a short-term trading opportunity. I'm kind of hoping to swing USD ZAR. So that's just what we're waiting for there. So we'll wait for patience, because when USD ZAR does give the setups, guys, it's always a nice setup. Yeah, and that's the last pair that I had to look at, guys. That's the last pair that I had to look at. Is Mamba by his table? Oh, you're there. Oh, wait. Let me just double check the chats and see if there were any questions before. CJ, I think you mean FJ. SL and TP. Let me just go and double check it for you. But I did send a signal, so everything is there on the signal stuffs. Let's just go and double check what's the stop loss and the TP. So stop loss is 123.553. TP is 122.581. That's the stuff there. Good morning, guy. Newbie from Namibia. Okay, I think that was all of the intros there. That was the intros. All right, let me hand over to Mr. Mamba. Or Mr. Mamba, you can claim host. Let me see if I beat you to it. Okay, I'm done. You're done. You beat me. No stress,
guys. I did try it. He wanted to make me a host, then I beat him with record time. So, man, since I beat you, man, today you are hosting the session, man. Stop checking.
Yeah,
Stop
hey, man, you're fighting this war.
Man, you must lose this war. You can't win this one, man. Okay, basically, guys, here I'm just going to be going through a few pairs, which I believe we've been waiting for to mature for the past few weeks. I think it was Monday. This week, guys, I haven't been in a good state to be like trading and all that. I've been like sick, and I'm that one person who doesn't normally get sick. So when I get sick, I literally panic a lot. Okay, guys, but looking at GCAT, GBP-CAT, we've been looking at price to literally push to the downside. Let me just change the color here. We've been looking for price to tend to the downside. I remember last time we were checking, we saw this descending structure here, which was printed on GBP-CAT, and then we're looking for price to come and test these areas here. We're waiting for price to come and tap into these areas and then continue shooting to the downside. Remember, guys, because of the overall momentum was to the downside, as you can see. So we didn't want to take this short buy here, but instead we wanted to wait for price to come and finish this 90% rule before shooting to the downside. And as you can see, guys, that price is really taking time. Here. If I can just remove everything, okay. Let me just remove everything. If you can just see, guys, here. If I can just zoom out here, you're gonna see that the price is indeed taking its time to complete this 90% rule. That is somewhere here because of, okay, I just typed in something here. That is somewhere here, guys. That is somewhere here. So yeah, price really is taking its time to reach these areas here, but we really are looking for price to come and tap into these areas here, and then that's when we're gonna be looking for what? We're gonna be looking for price to probably shoot to the downside, all the way to the downside. That is basically what we're looking out for at this hotspot area for us. And then that's basically what I'm looking at for on Euro JPY. And then again, guys, on GBP, I mean, guys, on Euro JPY, guys, I had to evolve with the structure. I had to really evolve with the structure, but you can see, guys, that we do have first touch here, we do have second touch here, and we're looking for price to come to this third touch. But then again, we really don't want to ignore that price is really having a hard time breaking below these areas here. As you can see, that price is doing some sort of like equal lows here at these areas here, and you can see that it made this fake out move. So what you can literally expect price to do here, guys, is that we're gonna be waiting for price to break above these structures here. Because for me, everything still looks so bearish for now. I wouldn't be like, because price did respect this area, then it's just gonna shoot to the upside. So what I'll basically be looking out for, I'll be looking for price to break above this area here. Once price do break above this area, then I'm waiting for some sort of like commitment. Once I do get that, then that's when I'm gonna be looking to go long on this position. But other than that, guys, I'm still looking for price to come form this descending structure here. Once price do form this descending structure, then that's when I'm going to be looking to enter my long positions here. Super nice and simple. Remember, guys, we want to keep everything as you possibly can. And you can see, guys, that we are actually from bullish momentum. As you can see, we are pushing to the upside, and then we enter this toward expanding type of pattern here, and then we're looking for price to continue with the second leg. So if you really want, you can still measure. You can still measure this zone here, taking from this low to this high, and then expecting price to go as high as this, as high as what? As high as this leg from here to here. Let me just go to my daily time frame. From here to here, as you can see, guys, expecting price to continue pushing, probably looking at these areas as our first target at this point in time. Super nice and simple, guys. You can see that the overall direction, we did print what this double bottom formation as well here, even though it's not so clear, but you can literally see that price was forming this descending nature, broke above it, came for some sort of retest, and now is pushing to complete the 90% rule of this overall structure here. There's still more potential, guys, to the upside. Looking at these areas, we can still come and tap into these areas at this point in time. Super nice. This guy is going to be one of those nice trade once it does decide to give us that move to the upside, because we really don't know how long it can take, or it's going to take for price to mature enough so that we can really capitalize on this move. But we do know that long term, we are looking for price to continue pushing all the way to the upside. As you can see, guys, that the whole momentum is to the upside. Even if you can just zoom out here, you're going to see, let me just go to my weekly time frame. If you can just stay on my weekly time frame, guys, you're going to see that we do have this descending nature. After we've seen so much impulsive moves to the downside, and then we started seeing price printing this descending type of pattern, and then we printed some sort of like a double bottom formation, pushed away, we broke above this structure here, created this retracement, and then we started to see price creating this double bottom as well, again failing to break below this area to continue with this bearish momentum here. And then you can see that we are indeed looking for price to continue pushing, even overall to see these highs being taken out by Euro JPY. But that is just what we are looking at for long term, guys. We really don't know how long price is going to take for it to reach at that level. So yeah, it's just a matter of us applying a bit of more patience for this setup to mature so that we can literally capitalize on. And then moving forward on AUD, guys, please do tell me if I'm a bit too fast. Charmaine, do you think I'm a bit too fast?
No.
Okay, cool. So guys, looking at AUD USD, guys, you can see from bigger time frame, you can see that we do have some sort of like a head and shoulder pattern. You can see this is our left shoulder. We have a head, and then we created the neckline. So I always say the neckline are not equal. As you can see, guys, the neckline are not equal. So we can call it a Quasimodo pattern. If you know the difference between the head and shoulder pattern and the Quasimodo pattern is that the Quasimodo pattern, the neckline of the Quasimodo pattern is usually longer than the other neckline, but then again, come back to this area to give us that entry that we're always looking out for. So that's the only difference, but then still the same way that we used to capitalize. So those who are new, that just don't get confused about the name Quasimodo. It really doesn't have a lot. So you can see, guys, that we do have that nice structure here. We have that nice structure, and then we're expecting price to continue shooting to the downside. This probably going to be our first TP, second TP, and looking for further more push to the downside to complete the second leg of this move here, this whole move, which is the second leg that we are looking at for here. Remember, guys, when we say price action repeated itself, always does the same thing. So going to smaller time frame, guys, dropping down to a little bit of more or less time frame compared to where you can see, guys, that we do have this push to the downside, and then we formed this continuation pattern. Super nice. We have first touch, second touch, and this is the third touch here, as you can see. And then what is that we did forecast that we want to see price breaking below this areas. As you can see, guys, we've been looking at this breakout, and you can see that we finally did get that breakout, and we're looking for price to continue. Let me just remove this. We're looking for price to continue moving, completing this 90% rule of this SWOT pattern, and you can literally see, guys, that price really accomplished this move all that we've been looking out for. About 154 pips, super nice and simple on this move just alone, as you can see. And I'm still seeing more potential for price to continue pushing to the downside. As you can see, guys, if I do major from these highs to these lows here, you're gonna see, guys, that there's still more potential for price to continue pushing probably to these areas as well here. And then that's when you're gonna see if price has more potential to the downside, or maybe looking forward for reversal patterns. But nonetheless, so now we're looking for AUDUSD to continue pushing to the downside. Moving to my last pair, which is NZDUSD. We've been focusing NZDUSD to shoot to the downside, guys. We've been seeing this move to the downside. Remember, we did have two third process that we're looking at for here. This was our first process that we're looking for price to come to this double bottom, or for price to come to this third touch. As you can see, we do have first, second, and looking for this third touch here. And you can see, guys, that price has already did this big move here. As you can see, guys, we did experience this big move here on our H4 time frame. So what is that I'm waiting out for, guys, here now? Because there are two possible scenarios that can present itself. Either price can respect these areas, guys. As you can see that we do have this double or equal lows here. And then what happened? Price pushed away and then broke apart this structure. So we can still see price. Let me just go to my H1 time frame so that it can be a little bit more visible. Let me just remove this so that you guys can clearly see. So guys, you can see that we do, let me just remove this. So guys, you can see that this overall whole zone that we're looking at for here, this overall zone is our equal low double bottom formation. So what you can literally see, guys, here, you can see that price did break apart this structure here. Price did break apart this structure, came to give us a retest. So now, guys, what I'll be basically waiting out for, guys, here, I'm still not convinced about this retest, guys. I'm still not convinced. So I'll wait for price to print some sort of like a continuation pattern, giving me first touch, second touch, and a third touch. Once I do get that third touch, then that's when I'm going to be looking to go long. Because of, remember, guys, nature still always say we have an impulsive move, and then we want to see price forming some sort of like a continuation to the upside. So this is what I basically want to see happening here. I'm really not convinced with this retest. Reason being is that even if I can do enter a buy here, I can do that. Even if I can do enter a buy, we find out I'm going to hold this position even a little bit more longer because of maybe still going to enter inward in this consolidation. So I really don't want to hold this because of if you're holding trades a little bit more long, broker is going to charge you something like swap and all those things for having trades sleeping for like holding trade overnight. I almost said sleeping, having trade sleeping. Yeah, but then to avoid those kind of things, guys. So we're just going to be waiting for price to make this 3-touch move that we are looking at for here. And then once we do get that 3-touch move, then that's when we're going to be looking to execute our long position here. Other than that, guys, I'm still more than happy, guys, to see price coming and tapping into these areas, making our 3rd touch. And then once it does make our 3rd touch, first things first, guys, we have to understand and read price action is how it moves. So first things first, we want to see how price gets into our 3rd touch, which is very, very important when we're about to execute in this point in time, whether we're going to decide on taking a risk entry or reduce risk entry. So when I say price forming some sort of like a descending type of pattern, once price do form this descending type of pattern, that's when we're going to see it is a shortage of momentum to the downside. Then that's when we know that, okay, we can take a high risk entry or we can take a reduced risk entry depending on how comfortable you are with taking this position. So that is basically what I'm looking at for guys in this position. So yeah, I believe my time is out as well. Eva. Mr. Mamba. Yes, you can take over now. Let me just make you a host. Thank you. Okay, yeah, you're a host now, Eva.
Thank you. Mr. Mamba, which price did you cover?
I covered NU, AU, UJ, and GC, GPCAT. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Joe, I give you Triano.
What's the thing said?
And fetch. Yeah, no more chances.
Hello. Hey guys, I've been talking alone. Talking and you guys can hear me, but it's fine. I'm going to start afresh. So yes, I'm basically looking at GU and I'm on a daily time frame because I want to check what's the higher time frame narrative. So we can clearly see that on GU we are basically on a downtrend. So what we want to do, we want to check if the lower time frame are going to be in line with our higher time frame. So we can check on our 4-hour. This is exactly what happened. If you can check here on 4-hour net. I said yesterday that if I experience a change of character here, if the market, let me do this so that you guys can see clearly. If the market breaks above this area and close above this area, that's when we'll be expecting a bullish momentum for a very long time. So we can see that we clearly didn't see that the market did some manipulative, closed with a wick above here, but it didn't give us what we wanted. Let me move this downwards here. Yes, it didn't give us what we wanted. So the market started shooting down to show us that it didn't change the character. So it showed us that it's still on a downtrend. So if we can check on the 4 hours.
1 hour. 1 hour.
1 hour. Yes.
Yeah.
So if you can check on our 1 hour, we can see that on our 1 hour, we had an impulsive movement to the downwards, and which left an inefficiency in the market. That's like a market imbalance. So we can see that here that the market came back to fill up this market inefficiency in a corrective manner. So what we are expecting, we'll be expecting, I'll be going down to the 15 minutes. We can see on the 15 minutes, we can see clearly this corrective manner here that has happened. So we can see that it's been going in a corrective manner. We can still expect the market to still correct, but what we basically want, we want the market to at least mitigate this area so that we can be able to shoot down with the market. So on 15 minutes, I'm going to just, let me do this. On 15 minutes, I'm just going to, oh yeah. Wait.
Please sell here.
Yes. I'm just going to do this on our 15 minutes. Yes, so this is our basically the point of interest. So I will be waiting for the market. I'll be expecting the market to do this, to approach this area in a corrective manner. That's when then I'll be looking for my selling opportunities once it reaches this point of interest, this supply, because we can clearly see that the market left a lot of liquidation down here. So it has to come and grab. There's a lot of money, there's a lot of stops sitting down here on this areas. So we are expecting the market to come at least this side, to come this side and grab all the others that are sitting down here. That's what I will be on to you. Someone is making noise.
You can just mute it now.
Okay. And he's busy disturbing me.
Who is that?
He's asking who's there.
The other city. All right, guys. So I'll be going down to, let me check what is gold doing for us. So I will be starting on a daily.
Is that?
On gold. Yeah, if we can check on a higher time frame on gold, we are also on a downtrend. So we don't want to trade against the trend unless we see a change of character, guys. So on 4 hours here, we can see that I think we're going to see that on 1 hour. On 1 hour, we can see that we have our nice point of interest here. This is what we call our supply zone. So we see the market did the same, almost the similar thing that it did to GU. We see the market decided to just shut down impulsively and ended up leaving the market inefficiency. Then it went down impulsively. And then we see the market already mitigated our point of interest, our supply zone here. So what we are expecting for the market to do, we are expecting for the market to still give us some kind of like a confirmation for our entry so that we can continue. You see the market is going to go here so it's going to give us some kind of a retest. So when we get our candlestick confirmation, we can just continue to the downside with the with gold. So the reason why also I'm expecting for gold to keep on shooting to the downwards is because as you can see here, we left something. There's a lot of money sitting here. So there's a lot of liquidity sitting down here that needs to be grabbed. So the market makers, before they move to the intended direction, they just firstly go and grab their liquidity before they can just shoot to the upwards or intended direction. Let us go to 15 minutes so that we can see clearly what we are looking for. So unless, So unless, guys, on these areas that I've pointed, unless the market breaks above this area here, and then it closes above it, I'm still looking for selling opportunities, meaning that I haven't yet seen the change of character, but we can see that we've got our nice zone here, our demand zone here, and then the market came to mitigate this zone here. The market came to mitigate this zone here, and then it's intending to go to the upwards when it's on lower time frames on 15 minutes. So I'm still looking for selling opportunities unless if I see a break of structure here in the zone or in the zone. The reason why I'm still looking for selling opportunities, as we can see there, here guys, on 1 hour, let's see on 1 hour. On 1 hour, we can see that we've got the higher low, and then we've got these lows here that created some kind of liquidity. So the market went up, okay, to fill up this inefficiency, but the market couldn't break this high here. We couldn't break this